ماذا ننتظر؟ إن القدس الشريف يناديكم، فماذا يخيفنا؟ هل نخشى الموت؟
The House of Saud few families shaped the political and economic structure of an entire region. The House of Saud does. For nearly a century, this royal family has ruled Saudi Arabia, a country that holds some of the largest proven oil reserves in the world and plays a decisive role in global energy markets. Behind the formal image of monarchy lies something more complex. The House of Saud is not a small royal household. It is a vast political network, thousands of princes, and a system built on loyalty, hierarchy, and managed succession. In recent years, one figure has begun to reshape that system: Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. His rapid rise has shifted the balance of power inside one of the largest ruling families on earth. But this story is not simply about a crown prince. It is about how a dynasty governs power. If you're interested in how powerful families shape global politics, subscribe to the channel. Because to understand what is happening today, we first need to go back to where it all began. Every dynasty begins with a moment when ambition meets opportunity. For the House of Saud, that moment came in 1744 in the central Arabian region of Najd. There, tribal leader Mohammed ibn Saud formed an alliance with the scholar Muhammad ibn Abd al-Wahhab. The agreement was simple but powerful. The House of Saud provided military protection and political leadership. Together, they began expanding their influence across the Arabian Peninsula. Historians later called this alliance the First Saudi State. Although this early state was eventually defeated by Ottoman-backed forces in the early 19th century, the partnership between the Saud family and the religious establishment survived, and it would return. In the early 20th century, Abdulaziz ibn Saud, widely known as Ibn Saud, began reconquering the Arabian Peninsula. Between 1902 and 1932, he unified much of the Arabian Peninsula and proclaimed the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. But the true turning point came only a few years later. In 1938, enormous oil reserves were discovered near Dammam. That discovery transformed the kingdom and the dynasty forever. Oil wealth allowed the House of Saud to consolidate power and build a modern state. But wealth alone cannot explain how this dynasty governs. To understand that, we need to look inside the family itself. In the House of Saud, it became a system designed to manage a very large ruling family. At the top stands the King of Saudi Arabia, but historically, power inside the dynasty was rarely concentrated in one person. Instead, influence was distributed among the many sons of the kingdom's founder, King Abdulaziz. For decades, these princes held the most important positions. Some became powerful ministers. Others governed key regions such as Riyadh, Mecca, or the Eastern Province. Others controlled the security forces. This distribution created an internal balance. No single branch of the family could dominate the system completely. One of the most influential blocks became known as the Sudairi Seven, 7 brothers who shared the same mother, Hafsa bint Ahmed al-Sudairi. Several of them later became central figures in Saudi politics, including King Fahd and King Salman. Alongside the royal family itself, another institution plays a crucial role in the kingdom's power structure: the religious establishment. The descendants of Muhammad ibn Abd al-Wahhab, known as the al-Sheikh family, have long helped legitimize the authority of the ruling dynasty. But that carefully balanced system is now changing. And one man stands at the center of that transformation: Mohammed bin Salman. If you find this fascinating, make sure to subscribe, because the next part explains how this dynasty actually manages power, wealth, and loyalty inside a family of thousands. It is a matter of structure. Within the House of Saud, power is maintained through political authority, economic distribution, and institutional control. For decades, the Saudi state helped manage governance and balance within the royal family. Senior princes were appointed to key positions across the state. Some became ministers. Others governed strategic regions such as Riyadh, Mecca, or the Eastern Province. Others led powerful institutions within the military and security services. They provided access to influence, networks, and resources. In this way, Authority inside the state reinforced authority inside the family. Economic structures played an equally important role. Saudi Arabia's oil sector, dominated by the national energy company Saudi Aramco, generates the majority of the kingdom's revenue. That wealth sustains the patronage system, linking the royal family to business elites and tribal leaders. Many princes also develop private business interests. One prominent example is Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, whose investment company built stakes in global corporations and media firms. But managing a dynasty of this size requires more than wealth. It requires loyalty. And in dynasties, loyalty is rarely optional. In dynastic systems, loyalty is never just symbolic. It is structural. Membership in the House of Saud brings prestige, influence, and access to vast resources. But it also comes with clear expectations. Princes are expected to support the stability of the kingdom, respect internal hierarchies, and avoid public conflicts that could weaken the legitimacy of the ruling system. For decades, this balance was maintained through quiet negotiation. Disagreements certainly existed. Public confrontation between princes was rare. That began to change in the last decade. When King Salman became king in 2015, a younger generation rapidly moved into positions of power. At the center of that shift stood his son, Mohammed bin Salman. His rise was unusually fast. Within a few years, he became defense minister and then crown prince. Then, in November 2017, the political landscape changed overnight. Dozens of powerful princes, businessmen, and former ministers were suddenly detained. The Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Riyadh temporarily turned into a detention center. Saudi authorities described the operation as an anti-corruption campaign designed to recover billions in state assets. But the message inside the kingdom was unmistakable. The balance of power within the royal family had changed. And in dynasties, such moments redefine the rules. What followed quickly became one of the most controversial international stories involving Saudi Arabia in recent decades. Investigations later concluded that Khashoggi had been killed inside the consulate. Saudi authorities acknowledged that the killing had been carried out by Saudi agents and announced prosecutions against several individuals involved. The incident triggered global scrutiny. Governments, journalists, and human rights groups debated responsibility and implications for Saudi leadership. For dynastic systems, moments like this create a particular kind of pressure, because the reputation of the state and the ruling family are intertwined. And when international criticism grows, the stability of the system itself can come under strain. When tensions inside powerful families become visible, they rarely remain private for long. In the modern media environment, internal events quickly become global. For the House of Saud, attention is amplified by oil wealth and geopolitical importance. Every major decision, internal shift or controversy attracts intense scrutiny from governments, journalists, and analysts around the world. In these moments, different actors begin shaping the public narrative. Government officials attempt to frame events through official statements and policy announcements. International media interpret developments through political, economic, and human rights perspectives. And on social media, public opinion often forms rapidly, producing competing interpretations of the same events. For the leadership of a ruling dynasty, this environment creates a delicate balance. Too much silence can fuel speculation. Too much reaction can prolong controversy. Historically, many dynastic systems respond with a familiar strategy: controlled communication, limited public engagement, and a gradual shift of attention toward new developments. But inside the dynasty, such moments reinforce a central question: how much deviation can a system tolerate before cohesion begins to weaken? The House of Saud is not simply a royal household. It is one of the most powerful dynastic systems. From its origins in the deserts of the Arabian Peninsula to its position at the center of global energy markets, the family has built a political structure where state, economy, and dynasty are deeply interconnected. For the House of Saud, attention is amplified by oil wealth and geopolitical importance. But like all dynasties, it continues to evolve. a new generation of leadership is reshaping the balance between consensus and centralized authority. At the center of this transformation stands Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Through initiatives such as Vision 2030, Saudi Arabia is attempting to reduce its dependence on oil, diversify its economy, and redefine the future of the kingdom. How these changes will ultimately reshape the internal dynamics of the House of Saud remains one of the most important questions for the region. Because dynasties rarely disappear overnight. They adapt, they reorganize, and they find ways to ensure that power survives beyond any single generation. The House of Saud shows how dynastic power operates today. If you want to explore how other powerful families maintain influence across generations, subscribe to the channel, because the next episode examines another dynasty and the hidden structures behind its power.